So team, let me just see if you can use the chat
Yes,
box. Just put a message there in the chat if you're able to all hear me. Yes, I can see Kunal there. Mohammed Arfin there. Rajan there too. Pritam, excellent. Kaveri too. Very well. Everyone team, let me know if you're all there. Let's just make use of chat box for a minute. And because we'll be using this chat box for all the sessions to come, we'll be unmuting as well ourselves for asking the questions. Great, great, excellent. So team, today, in fact, today is the first day, right, of our learning. And the course or the learning that we're going to take on for some days, I mean, for next some days, it's going to be the DevOps Masterclass, right? Now, as a part of this course, I would just like to give you a quick idea what this course is going to be about. In fact, let me just share my screen quickly so that it will be good reference for you all. And let me just give you a quick view of it. All right. So this particular course, as we have called it, let me just, okay, now all good. As we are calling it, the DevOps Masterclass, right? And as a part of this course, as you can expect from the title itself, we are going to explore the word of DevOps. We are going to see I mean, in fact, we are going to start with literally understanding what DevOps is. We are not going to assume anything at all. And from there on, literally to understand all the popular and major services that are being used in DevOps, how we can use them, what are the fundamentals behind it, and everything we are going to see. So as a part of that, I'll just give you a quick idea what particularly are we going to have in there. So just a moment, right? Okay, let me just open up the browser for this because I'm sure you must have received that already. But just to give you a quick idea, what this masterclass program is going to be around as well. Now, team, as a part of this course, as I just now mentioned, we are going to explore whatever is required for us to get upskilled on DevOps. We are going to explore the tools and services that are very much popular and that are being used in the real world environment, that are used in the production environment, and these are all we are going to explore. But before I talk about that, before I show you this browser, I would really like to quickly know about what tools are you aware of? What DevOps tools are you aware of? Let me know in the chat box, team. I'll be waiting for that, and then I'll go further. Let me know in the chat box. Which tools have you heard of that are being used in DevOps? Which tools you may have worked on already? Let me know in the chat box. Let's just see that. What tools are you aware of? And then I'll tell you further. Yes, at least one or the other tool for sure, right? That we are aware of, isn't it? Great. Very well. Exactly. Exactly. So, team, as you said correctly, in fact, I was expecting more responses, but yeah, at least these many responses with which, you know, the names or the tools or the services or the platforms that you have called out, right? These are exactly very popular ones, but there are some more as well that are something that we need to understand. Exactly. Yes, I can see Omar Arfin saying Jenkins, Ansible, Rajan as well saying so. Madan Mohan as well, I can see saying Docker, Kubernetes. Right, I'm sure you're willing to say Kubernetes there. Pritam as well is saying Docker. You can see Mohammad Arfin again saying Grafana. Exactly. In Madan Mohan, Ansible, Rajan, Git. Yes, team. These are very the tools, right? And exactly these are what we'll be exploring as a part of this course as well. Now, you can see, uh, in general, if you see, in order to go for this environments of DevOps, a very popular, operating system or rather the platform that we are supposed to know is Linux. Linux is very popular. It's been used everywhere, right? And we'll see as well. I mean, in this particular model, we are going to explore what are the reasons going behind, what are the reasons for Linux being so popular and why we should need it as a DevOps engineer, right? So we're going to see that. as you said, further, we'll be having a Python. I mean, with this particular thing, we'll see exactly how we're going to take up. I'll just skip it for now. But yeah, this is where it will be the core part of it. The AWS cloud. Now, you see, nowadays, the things are moving rapidly onto cloud, right? So on premises is still there. We are still using it. But yeah, majority of the companies, they are looking for cloud-based solutions, right? So for that, one of the cloud that we'll be exploring here, the first cloud rather, will be AWS cloud. We'll see what services, what major services are there, and they can be used for setting up DevOps on cloud. So we'll be understanding DevOps on cloud as a part of that as well. We also have Azure part of it, where we'll also understand how the DevOps has been undertaken in Azure environment. We'll see that too, right? And then comes the core DevOps part, right? So for example, the very discussion that we're going to have today, we'll be starting with, okay, is software development lifecycle. That is the very, very fundamental of going for DevOps, right? So that's exactly what we'll be exploring. What is that and all these concepts, okay? I'm not calling out each and every concept here, but just giving a basic idea of how it is going to be there. Then we are going to work upon Git. Yes, you yourself told me, right? Git is a very popular version control system, or SCM as we call it. We're going to look at it in and out entirely. We also are going to explore the Jenkins. You said it, right? A while back, Jenkins is a very popular DevOps tool. So that as well, we're going to explore it in and out entirely in this course. And we're going to see how in DevOps, it is becoming so much popular. We also are going to see Ansible. You told it, right? Ansible is very important in DevOps. We need to understand that. So we have got this end-to-end understanding of Ansible. We'll be exploring that as well. How can we miss out on containers? I mean, the new age, standardized approach that the companies are looking for. In fact, today, when you're going for interviews, they are expecting you to be aware of containers and how they are being dealt with. So that's where we'll be first understanding the fundamentals of containers. Whether or not you are aware of it, you'll get a good understanding of the things. You'll get the clarity of the things over as well. So we'll explore the containers. We're going to see how the containers are basically worked with. And then we'll see going further, we are going to work. Now, containers, this is the basics of containers we are going to first explore. And then we'll, at an advanced level, we are going to see how the containers are dealt with, right? We have tools like Kubernetes. We have platforms like Kubernetes, which are very popular for that. And that's exactly what we'll be exploring as a part of it as well. I mean, many concepts are there. You can just see the kind of scope of it. And then another very popular, you said it, right? Terraform, right? So we'll as well going to see what Terraform is, why it is required at all, and how we can use it in and out. So that as well exploration we are going to have. And finally, we'll see Prometheus, Grafana, you told it, right? So monitoring point of view, we also need to set up our environment. So team, this is what the course is about. In fact, you yourself have told me in the chat, what are the things that we use in the DevOps environment. So this is exactly what we are going to explore. And as a part of that, we'll be spending a lot of time on implementing these things, and we're going to understand how we can use it. Okay, so this is going to be our mind map. This is going to be our course map rather, going further with this course, and we'll be explaining. There are some more things as well. I mean, this is just a, the overall outline of the course, but don't worry, we'll be adding some more things as well, which are very much popular and which are being used in the DevOps environment. We'll be using our the demos and our implementation a lot more. I'll be sharing you the resources as well that are required for you to perform these things on your own as well. Okay, I've created certain documents, I've created certain files for you to go with this course, and we'll go with this demos and services and tools. So I'll be there with you entirely throughout this course to understand the DevOps in detail. All right. So this is the course team as we're going to have for it. Any doubt that you have, if you have anything, you can ask me how we're going to go about this course. I hope the thing is clear what I've just told. A quick thumbs up would be great if you have understood what are we going for. I hope you can find out that thumbs up option there. Can you just check it, team? I hope you can find that out. The reactions, I believe, right? There you should be having that thumbs up option. If you see react option is there, right? Let's just see if you can all give me a thumbs up. Great. And there's one more thing, team. You see, if you want to take your DevOps learning to the next level thereafter, there's one more course that we are as well having, and I just give you an overview of that course as well, just to give you an idea. If you're if you're willing to, after that, if you're willing to take your learning to the next level, I'll tell you what specific course as well that's there. If you're interested, you can look into that too. Okay, so DevOps to DevSecOps. Now that is one step further, right? So I'll just give an idea what it is. I mean, you can just have I'll just zoom it a bit more. Okay, so you see, in this particular learning that might be later, or if you are looking for DevSecOps as the ultimate, learning, DevSecOps is further, you see, DevOps is where we are focusing on Dev and Ops, right? We'll see that as we're going to go further. Development and operations. DevSecOps is that next step to it, which is where we get to include security as a part of validating your environments or your pipelines, right? So you can see this is again the course for it. Introduction to DevOps. You'll have there Git version, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, right? Ansible, right? Same way like monitoring with Zabbix, Terraform, right? And then further Linux basics as well, just like we saw before, the IAC as well. We've seen containerization as well, cloud computing. That's the basis of it. But as we'll see further here, after mounting and logging, then there'll be a further step to it, which is going to be introduction to DevSecOps, where the DevSecOps concepts will start to get in as well. Okay, so certain concepts like how to secure the SDLC pipeline, static analysis for it, dynamic analysis, how that's been done, infrastructure as a code, security point of view, how that's been taken care of, compliance as a code, vulnerability management, why to choose this, and basically this is particularly that we have it. So again, if you're looking for this as well, or if you're looking for DevSecOps ultimately further, you can look out for this particular. I mean, they have already given here the contact information as well. You can refer this recording afterwards, and you can always reach out to the team. They will help you for that DevSecOps course if you need. Anyway, but just wanted to give an idea that, okay, there is this course as well that you can go for. But in our case, right now, we want to get going with DevOps, right? So the DevOps masterclass, as I called it. Now, in order to make the things interesting, in order to make the things, to go in a proper flow, I will be, at times I might not be going exactly point by point. I might be tweaking the things here and there, but ultimately you can be sure that at the end of our learning, you'll have learned everything that I've told. Okay, so don't go point by point, don't worry. There are certain things that we'll have to take out further upfront. There are certain things that we'll have to take later on. But ultimately, for sure, we'll be understanding each and everything. All right. So before I say anything, right, the very, very first thing that we need to explore, okay, is the word DevOps itself. Right. Now, team, as I've told you, our very first discussion is going to be around this topic only, where we are going to explore. I think someone has used the whiteboard that I am using. Okay, I'll be sharing with this whiteboard. I think it is Bhakt Vassala Reddy. I think I'll be sharing you with the whiteboard. Don't worry, you can then do the things over there. But while I'm using it, let's not. Okay, otherwise it will be something the others might not feel right? Isn't it? Anyway, so like I was saying, team, the very first thing that we are going to discuss as a part of this course is we'll have to understand what DevOps is, right? Now, obviously, isn't it? I mean, when you're going for the master class of it, no issues. I mean, I was just kidding. No issues. I can totally understand. I mean, it can happen. So like I was saying, that before we can become a master of something, we first need to know what that particular entity is, what that particular concept is, what that particular, field is, right? So that's where, team, the very first question that I have for you is, what comes to your mind when you hear this word DevOps? What is the DevOps for you? First of all, don't worry. We'll be talking about that. If you're not aware of it, don't worry at all. We'll be discussing this in lot more detail in a while. But I'm sure you must have heard this word before. I'm sure whether or not you have worked on it, but I'm sure that you must have uh, some understanding of what this could be, or you might have some particular kind of understanding, or some comprehension of it. So let's just see, Tim. I mean, I would really like you to make use of chat box, or even you can unmute yourself if you want. But try to tell me what comes to your mind when you hear this word DevOps. What is the DevOps for you? Yes, team. You can make use of chat box, or you can as well unmute yourself directly, and you can then talk. Yes, go ahead.
I think, sir, DevOps means development of software and then it hosts to the server or that will be part of operation. So development plus operation. Uh,
Okay,
uh, and
exactly. Very well, Mohit, right?
yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
Exactly. Very well, Mohit. So as Mohit is saying, team, and again, I can see in the chat box as well, it has something to do with development. And there is another word that Mohit called out. And in fact, I can see that in the chat box as well. I can see Abhinay is saying development plus operation. Guessing it reduces time of software development very well. Bhakta Vashtala is saying the development to operations for faster delivery of application. Excellent. Okay, but the two words that I can kind of able to hear from you all is there is something to do with development plus operations. Right? Somehow we are basically trying to work around these two teams, right? One is the development team, and the other one seems to be the operations team. Right. Now, don't worry. We'll see that team for the others, and well, even for you, for the sake of understanding it in more detail, we'll see what development means, what operation means. But other than this, what do you think? What are some of the key highlights of DevOps? Why, as a company, I should go for it? What do you see to be the benefit of it? Any benefit that you get? Why, as a company, should I go for DevOps? Yes, team. Mohammad Arfin is saying cost saving. Yes,
Yeah.
Ravi. Yes, Ravi.
Yeah.
Ravi, I think
Huh?
your Mumbai Indians might have been playing, right? Or I'm not sure if they are done with the batting, but I'm able to hear that clearly. Okay. Anyway, yes, team. I think Mohammad Arfin is saying cost saving, right? So cost saving. Uh, how will that happen? Any idea on that? You can admit yourself as well, Mohammad Arfin. Yes. What is your take on it? Why? How the cost saving would happen? We can use resources based on choice and need. Exactly. Good answer. Yes, we can use resources based on our choice and the actual requirement that can save the cost. Excellent. Bhaktavatsala is saying time reduction. Time is a very, very interesting and important factor here. We'll see that, team. Okay, all of it. I'm going to justify that for you. I'm going to tell you how all of these does happen. But right now, we're just trying to assemble the things together. We're just trying to collect the things together so that when we will see that, okay, when we'll actually understand DevOps, we can come back to here and then we can again justify that, okay, these are the things that we had told, and yes, for sure it is happening. Rajan is saying automation, exactly one of the foundational rather aspect of DevOps is having automation, right? In fact, in AWS, in fact, in DevOps, we say that you should go for automation whenever, wherever, however possible, right? Excellent. Mohammad Arfin is saying that it becomes fast and reliable. Now, you can see whatever the answers that you're told, right? They're all correct. DevOps is like that big elephant, isn't it? So there are many benefits to it. Fast and reliable, yes, for sure. It makes your software development really fast, and it makes it a lot more reliable as well, getting full control over the operations. Anything else, team, that you're aware of regarding DevOps? Why the companies are going for it? Why it is becoming so popular? Any idea? Any other thing if you have, let me know. Otherwise, we'll go further. Okay, but Vinay,
Ready,
yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
ready to use environment developed by the team. We can ready lot of machine with the Ansible and configuration from the Ansible.
Exactly. Yes, one moment. Basically, as you're saying, configuration management, we call it, right? Tools like
Yes, yes,
Ansible, we can use it for doing the configuration management and be able to manage, as you said correctly, hundreds and thousands of servers. If I have, I can manage that in a moment, literally in few seconds, if I need, isn't it? So ultimately, as you said correctly, we have got specialized tools and services to help us out with this. And these services and tools and even the best practices, as we call them, they for sure help us in, managing our real world environment, real time environment in a better way. Monitor, I can see Kunal is saying that to avoid miscommunication between two teams, exactly, in fact, as Kunal is saying, no team, there is some sort of miscommunication that we're going to observe later on in our discussion between development and operations. We're going to see how that communication and collaboration can be brought into action, right? And using Grafana, yes, monitoring logs and analysis of those logs. So yes, monitoring is a very important phase in DevOps lifecycle, wherein not only tools like Grafana, we have CloudWatch, we have Prometheus, right? And we have many more tools that we can make use of to get insights into our applications and make the things even better, right? So exactly, team, all the things that you have told just now, they are entirely and they are all correct, but we need to now justify them. We need to now see how these features are. I mean, we can apply or we can basically make these features, kind of features for our DevOps. How can these features be justified? Isn't it around DevOps? With that, for this masterclass, the particular or the person who is going to be with you for the next all sessions is going to be me, obviously, and my name is Swami S. Okay, and I have been working in this industry for last 17 plus years, where I have been fortunate enough to work with many corporate clients. And right now, I'm even working with many corporate clients and companies where I'm working on the DevOps and development domain of the companies. We are, or I'm rather making or trying to, I would rather say, trying to make things easier for them by upskilling them on this DevOps word, the development on that, and on the cloud, especially working on clouds like AWS and Azure to go with. Right. So I'll be there, team. My name is Swami S, and I'll be there with you for the next all sessions. We are going to explore this word of DevOps together, and we're going to learn it. Right. So let's just get going. Let's just see what exactly do we have here. Before that, I just have one small request for all of you. Being this as your first session, right? I would just like to have a small introduction from you all. Now, again, as we have some number right now, I'll not ask you to unmute yourself just for the reason. But in 2 minutes, what you can do as a part of introduction, you can just, because what happens, I'll tell you, is at times the names that we join in with, right? They might not be correct, or they might have wrong order in terms of surname, first name, and all. So the very first thing, team, I would really like you to tell me is your first name, right? Second is after your first name. If you tell me that, I'll be able to call you with that. The second thing I would really like to look for is whether you're working right now. If yes, then let me know your role or designation in the company. Why I'll tell you is because that way I'll be able to understand how relevant this learning is going to be for you all, right? And third thing I would like you to know is your expectation. What is the expectation? What is that particular expectation that you're joining this course with? Maybe like I'm looking to switch my job, I'm looking to upskill myself, I'm looking for, I mean, as a student, I'm just learning it, right? Or I'm looking to move into this world of DevOps. What is that particular expectation that you're going with? Please let me know this team in your chat box. Okay, please get a single message of it. And I'll just keep track of these things while we are going further so that I'll get to, I mean, I'll be able to meet the expectations and as well get to know you all with that. Okay, so please go for the team. Make sure to let me know in the chat box what is about a bit about your introduction. Just put entire information as a single message. The full information, all the 3 questions in 2 minutes. Okay, it will not take more time. But make sure to put that as a single message. On the very first day, it is important. I've given you my introduction. I'll be looking for yours as well.
Good evening, sir. My name is Kunal.
Yes, Kunal.
And right now, sir, I am fresher in this domain. Like I only have some basic Linux knowledge, and actually, I have passed my graduation in 2021. So, and I am from mechanical domain,
Right.
mechanical branch. So I don't have any experience.
Right.
And right now I'm just having expectation about to start my career in this domain, like Linux DevOps Cloud. So yes, like
Great,
you
great.
can guide me about like should I join this course or not?
No, surely, Kunal. You see, as a part of this course, as I told that I will for sure not assume anything going into this course. So it will be starting entirely from scratch. If you attend each and every session today on, you will not face any challenge at all. Whether or not you're coming from the IT background, it doesn't matter. I'll make sure that while you're going further with this course, we'll go entirely from scratch and I'll not going to assume anything. And for sure, if you're looking, it's a fantastic word to get in and for sure it will help you go further with it. Okay.
Yes, Swami, can I say something if you don't mind?
Yes, Pritham.
Yes, Swami, my name is Pritham. Presently, I'm working as an incident manager and problem manager for
Right.
a big network company. And I joined this course to upskill myself and for the switch job later on. But I'm really interested in Linux. Okay, I'm really interested in automation. I did a couple of things in Python also.
Right.
So that's why I've just joined so I can motivate myself to do something more.
Right. So whatever the concepts that you told, right? Maybe your Linux or maybe automation, right? All of those things we are going to focus a lot on. In fact, in this course, it will be entirely there. The very first module right after this is going to be Linux only, where we'll be understanding that whatever is required for you to go into the DevOps environment, we'll be understanding
Yes.
that in and out. We'll be also understanding automation is the basis of it for DevOps. So everywhere our focus will be to set up the automations there. So this is exactly right. These are the concepts that we'll be entirely focusing on, and for sure it will help you upskill yourself
And
that way.
I have a small question from you. Sorry for the interruption, guys.
No,
So how
please go ahead.
long how long the course will go? Like how many days?
You see, it totally depends. So what I'm going to say, team, is yes, this week we'll be having 1 hour of session, but I hope it's fine for you from next week onwards to have 2 hours of session, if it is fine. And accordingly, we'll be able to cover that in around 2.5 months, 2.5 months to 3 months at the most. We'll be able to cover that because ultimately, you see, we don't have session on weekend, right? We just have sessions on weekdays, isn't it? So if you go in that way, 2.5 months to 3 months at the most, we'll be able to cover this.
Okay, so for this week, today and after that, next week, will be starting for like whole week. There will be a class, or we have
Yes,
only
yes,
class
yes.
on.
Every week, so Monday to Friday, right? We'll be having session every day
Hmm.
in the evening at 9. So if you're in the, IST, it is at 9 p.m. Right?
So 9 to 11, right?
9 to 11. That will be better, right? Because what happens, I'll tell you, is 1 hour, it will be really less for us, isn't it? I mean,
Hmm.
to get going with anything. In fact, joining in and getting out for 5 minutes here and there and discussions, again, recalling what we have seen previously, that will take a lot of time. I mean, that will take some time. So instead of 1 hour of merely session, from the next week on, we can as well have 2 hours of session so that we can go in flow. It will not break the flow in between. And as well, you will get the things done in lesser time, and that way you will as well be able to, I mean, upskill yourself with a better pace, isn't it?
Yes.
Great team. I can see the introductions. I can see Kaveri there as well. Great. I can see it from Rajan, AWS Cloud Architect, very well. Mohit as well, I can see technical support and I want to work in clouds, very well. You can see Bhakta Vatsala as well. Excellent. Nice team. How about others? In 2 more minutes, and then we'll get going. Okay, if you're there, please make sure to put your introduction in.
Hello. Yeah,
Yes.
good evening, sir.
Yes, yes. Good evening. Please tell me.
Yeah, sir. Actually, my name is Ravi, and I am working as a digital marketing manager.
Acha.
Okay.
Okay.
And I myself, I want to switch in DevOps or any cloud service, cloud-based service,
Right.
because I need a hike in my job, and because I have 10 years experience in the same field in digital marketing, but I have not have a high package.
Right.
So my main priority is to switch myself in AWS or DevOps so that I can uh, find out a good job and hike my salary.
Exactly. Very well. In fact, that is what we'll be focusing on is in this course. As I told you, we'll be going from scratch as well. So that will be a good thing. And even the services that we're using, right, they are very much in demand right now in the market. So when you tell someone that, okay, I know what Terraform is, I know what Ansible is, I know what Jenkins is, okay, that will have a big impact on your on the possibilities of you getting selected in the companies. The companies, when they're looking for DevOps engineers, they're looking for DevOps beginner roles. Or the DevOps roles are the without prior experience. These skills that we're going to acquire, for sure, it will help you. It will strengthen your profiles. It will strengthen your resumes to switch into this world of DevOps. Yes, it will as well require some efforts from your end. We'll be as well doing that. You'll need to revise the knowledge. You'll have to implement the things yourself, what we are doing here, right? But ultimately, for sure, these services, these tools that we are discussing, they are right now entirely in demand. And DevOps, as you might know, it's full in demand. So this will for sure help you in your career going further, right?
Hi, sir.
Yes.
I'm Sharmi. I'm from Kumbhakonan. So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
so I have some maternity gap, a career gap due to maternity.
Acha.
So shall I proceed for this course for DevOps engineer?
No, for sure. If you're looking, no, I'll tell you. If you're looking to go into this DevOps domain, which again right now is in entire in boom, and the companies are looking for a skill set that we are looking for sure. Again, even if you have a gap like that, it will for sure you can justify the gap by justifying that okay, you have upskilled yourself on these services and tools and best practices, and that can justify that if you're appearing further for interviews and going into this world of DevOps. Is it? In fact, we'll be using AWS Cloud as well, majorly here. So that will be an addition to your knowledge, not only DevOps, but as well AWS Cloud as well. I'm going to make you aware of, which is required. So both the things you'll be getting in. And today, DevOps plus AWS, it is a dangerous kind of, I would rather say, combination. It's very dangerous, as in it's very in demand combination, and that will for sure help your team. Okay.
The Python is necessary for this program or
Python, sorry.
Python is included in this program or
Yes, we have it, but to an extent that's required for our course. But Python from scratch, or rather, will not. It's not a dedicated, rather Python course. So we'll be using Python to an extent that we need. We'll be using it to the extent that this course will need. But it's not entirely in detail as such, because Python is a huge topic to learn. In fact, it itself can take 2.5 months or 3 months or 6 months to learn. I mean, if you go with this space. But yeah, to an extent that is required, for sure, we'll take that on as well. Okay. Python especially. Other tools will be looking at them in and out. Okay. Python being a entire language in itself, it will require some more time otherwise. But whatever is required, whatever much is required, for sure, we'll be taking that up.
then Linux also the basic commands is necessary or I need to go to advanced level?
No, we'll be taking it from the basic itself. We'll be taking it up from scratch. So no worries about that as well. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
All right, team. So thank you for your introductions. I can see the introductions for again, some more like I can see it from Shivam there. You can see it from Abhinay as well. Great. Right. So team, as I told you that in this particular course, we are not going to assume anything. We'll be going literally from scratch, not assuming anything at all, right? So as a part of that, the very first thing that I want to discuss with you is a simple application, okay? Let's just say you're, okay, I mean, just leave everything aside and just pay attention to what I'm saying. Okay, I want your help here. We are solving a problem, and let's just see what approach will we go for, right? So let's just say you are working in a company, right? And just like in any company, we have a manager there. A manager there, right? So your manager has come up to you. Okay, let's just say you and your colleagues are working in your company. Pay attention, okay? Because I'm going to ask you a couple of questions here. Okay, and manager is said, team, we have one task to accomplish. And manager said, and I'll write what manager said, team, we need to create an application for our global users to use. Okay, pay attention. This is much what our manager has told to our team. Okay, team, or to us rather, the team, as a part of company's new, strategy, we are supposed to create an application for our global users to use. Now, for simplicity's sake, I'll just let's just assume that we are supposed to create an application like Facebook. Okay, Facebook we are all aware of, right? We all use Facebook day in, day out, isn't it? So let's just say it's a Facebook-like application that our manager is willing to create, or a manager is willing to get it created from us as a team. Okay, and we are part of that company, right? This is our team. The team, I will need your help here in strategizing this particular task. We want to accomplish this task. Now I want you to think it like that team member. Okay, that what things are you going to do in which steps? So what is the very first thing that you will do? What is the second thing? What is the third thing? What is the fourth thing? Fifth, sixth, likewise. So we're going to set up a mind map here, okay, of how we are going to take on this task of creating an application. At the end of that entire process, what should happen is that application that you have created should be available for the entire global users, and they should be able to use that without any issues. Right? So team, I would now want you, all of you, to think over what will be the very, and please let me know in the chat box, what is your thought on this? What will be the very first thing that you will do in this case? Everyone, okay? Make use of chat box. Everyone, try to tell me that. What do you think will be the very first thing as a team you are going to do for working on this application? Everyone, okay? Everyone. Think over it. Or I'll give you a simple example. I mean, an equivalent example just to get going. Okay. Everyone, let's just assume that you have a blank or you have a empty place or empty land with you. Okay, you have kind of purchased it, you have kind of acquired it, and that is where you are willing to build a house. Okay, you are willing to build a house there. So you have gone to your architect first, right? And you have told your architect, okay, architect, I want to build a house here. This is much that you have told. Now, in that case, what will the very first thing that your architect will do? That's what I'm asking. What is the very first thing that your architect will do? You have told your architect, okay, architect, this is that land, this is that vacant or empty land, and this is where I am expecting you to build a house for me. Now, what you will ask? What will the architect doing? What will the architect do? The very first thing. You have just told
Soumi,
that much. Yeah.
Soumi, sorry for the interruption. Can I say something?
Yes.
Actually, if architect initially ask me that what is my requirement, then he or she can plan accordingly.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was
That's the
coming for.
requirement. Even few guys also mentioned the same. So
Hmm.
initially, architect will do the design, but he will ask my requirement. I
Exactly.
need a 2 bedroom or 3 bedroom, or I need a garage, or I need any kind of a commercial space or not.
Right.
Accordingly, he will decide.
Exactly.
He
So team,
will.
exactly. We'll have to then plan it accordingly, isn't it? So yes, team, planning is there as Pritham is saying, and even many of you are saying, actually there in the chat box as well. The very first thing, and I'm sure you must all agree on this, is you will ask your manager, okay, manager, yes, you have told us that you want an application, but what kind of application, right? What kind of application? So that's where you first need to gather the requirements. In that other example, your architect will ask you that, okay, Swami, yes, you are asking me to build a house, but what kind of house are you looking for? There are various kinds of models that he can build or he can give you, but you have to tell the requirements, right? How many floors are you looking for? What kind of house are you looking for? Isn't it? So basically, the requirement gathering is generally considered to be the very first thing in such tasks. Whether it is a technical task like this, okay, in this case, we'll ask our manager, okay, what kind of application are you looking for? What kind of features? Right now, I've told you it is kind of Facebook that, but your team members or you are not aware of that, right? So you'll ask your manager, tell us what kind of application are you talking about? What are the features for it? What is the overall objective of that application? Is it a social networking application? Is it some critical application? What kind of application, right? So requirement gathering and its analysis is considered to be a very first step in any of such projects where we'll gather the requirements, we'll analyze that, and then we'll formulate a problem statement. Okay, so just like in this example that I've asked you, our team members, after understanding the actual requirements, they will do the survey, they will look out for the possibility of it, and they will formulate a problem statement on which they'll be working. They have understood, okay, that now we're going to create an application like Facebook, and now we want to work on that. Isn't it? In the other example, our architect is going to gather all the requirements and then set up or analyze the requirement to understand what kind of house the user is looking for. Now, team, after you gather the requirements and you have understood the requirements, what will be the very next step? Everyone, you have told it already in the chat, many of you. Now you can go for the next step. Now that you know the problem, now you can do what around that problem? You can exactly. Very well, everyone. Around that problem, we are going to plan it, right? We're going to plan it now. We're going to set up the design for it. Isn't it? So planning, plan and design, I would rather say, is what you're going to do here. Right? We're going to plan it out now. Our architect is going to, on a paper, nowadays they don't use paper anymore. They have softwares, sophisticated softwares for that. But, they will plan it out. They will create a blueprint of your house. They will understand what kind of house are you looking for. They will figure out the resources and the tools and the services that are required for it. Now, technically speaking, in this application, we as a team members, we are then going to understand what services are we going to use, what kind of application are we going to create, what kind of frameworks are we going to use, what kind of language are we going to use for building that code or application, right? So ultimately, you see here, we are planning and designing our application. Okay, so this part, team, this overall part, this I call it, or we call it as a thinking part, okay, where you have thought it out. You have actually understood what application are you going for. Okay, so thinking part is done here. Thinking part is done here, where we have understood the problem, we have analyzed the requirements, we have figured out a plan for that, we have designed the blueprint of it. All of the thinking part is done. Now comes the implementation part. Right now, we want to implement this thing. Just like our architect has now set up the blueprint, now it will ask the the people or the employee that it, the labor rather that it has with it, it will ask them to kind of start building that house. Same way, in this application, in this technical example, now we start to want, or now we want to start building our application actually, because now we have thought it out, right? So team, talking technically, when I say I want to now start building the application, what is the very first thing that you think we can do? Well, who's that particular person who will initiate this process? We want to start building our application now. We want to start working on our application according to the plan. Yes, team, try to guess it. Who will be that person? Who is that magician who will start working on your application first? Just like the person, they will start to build your house brick by brick, right? Same way, who is that person? Who is that? What is that role, or what is that position? What is that designation? What is that particular person who will
The developer, I believe.
exactly, developer, right? So team, you see, we now want to, now the planning is done, right? Now the planning is done. Generally, on a technical point of view, a person that will initiate this process, okay, of developing your application is called as a developer. So developer does what? Developer will use its own machine with its own environment, right? And developer, as you know, the job of a developer is to what? Start writing the code for your application. Right? So start developing the code for your application. So the developer, he or she, the person, the developer rather, it will start writing the code on its own machine. Right? So this is the very first thing. That's where the term developer comes. So for those who are not aware of developer, developer is that person, remember, who is responsible for writing the code for the applications, for the tasks, for your, requirements. And that is what our developer is going to do as well. It is going to write the code. But team, because we want to create an application and there might be multiple developers, right, which might be working on the same application, it is not a good thing to keep that code on your local machine, right? I mean, you see, there might be multiple developers who might be working on the same on this same project, right? Because let's just say Facebook-like application, right? It's a big application. There'll not be a single developer working on it. There'll be multiple developers working on their own machines to write different parts of your application. So generally, we don't put that application code in our local machines. Rather, the developers are supposed to put that application code someplace safe, someplace from where the code can be managed entirely, someplace where your code can scale, it can be accessed in a controlled way. Do you know, team, any such service or any such place where the code is being managed end to end? You have told me that in the beginning, but let's just see if you can recall it. A very popular place where the code is generally kept by developers. It can be managed, right? Yes.
Is it a GitHub that we make
Yes,
version
yes.
controls? Because Suppose if I'm a developer, I'm doing something today. I thought, okay, it's not good. I need to change, or I get a requirement that you need to change this part. I'm gonna change my part and upload that.
Exactly.
So every version, whatever I wrote, if whatever I wrote today and I wrote tomorrow, it will be updated over there. If I'm not wrong.
Exactly. That's totally correct. And yes, as well, even Mohammad Arfin is saying the same, and so is Rajan, and so is Preetham. Yes, team. Now, don't worry about these terminologies for now. We're just getting an overview of the things. Okay, don't worry. As we're going to go further, you'll be understanding all these things in more detail. Right now, just remember that this code is generally kept at a place like, as we call it, places like GitHub. In fact, as such, there are other services as well, like we have Bitbucket and all. But timing, I'll just say Git or GitHub, right? Where the code is been kept. This is a very popular place. Don't worry. Again, I'm telling you, if you're not aware of GitHub, don't worry. We are going to have a detailed discussion of what GitHub is, how the code is kept there, why it is being used, what are the features of it. We'll see that. But timing, just remember this much, that a developer never keeps the code on its local machine, because if you have multiple developers, ultimately, how can you work on that project together, right? So for that, we use a single place, a central place where the code is kept, that is called as a code repository. And one of the example for that is GitHub. Now team, now that the code is put there, what do you think will be the next step? What will happen next with our code? Ultimately, you see, at the end of it, we want that the code should be deployed, the code should be running on the destination, and our end users are using it. Just like Facebook is running right now, isn't it? So Facebook code is written, that code is running on some servers, on some infrastructure, right? And then we are using it on our cell phones and our laptops and our, desktops. So what do you think will happen with that code once the code is written? Yes, team, try to guess it. What could be the very next step after the code is put there?
Testing,
Yes?
testing.
Testing. Okay, Madan is saying testing. All right. How about others, team? What do you think? What could be happening there after the code is ready?
Swami, I'm not sure. I just make a guess. Okay.
Hmm.
Maybe because multiple developers are involved on this particular project.
Huh.
So we'll merge the code by any chance? Because I'm not sure at this point.
What will you do?
We'll merge the code altogether.
Merge. No, merging and all of that has happened. Just
Okay.
assume that merging and pull request, all of those concepts, by the way, team will see later. But timing, just assume that everything is done. Now the final code is there into GitHub. That's ready to go for the final deployment.
Deployment.
Yes, we are going to do the deployment, but there are few stages, team, that we have to take on in between. I'll tell you. Okay.
We have
The
to
next stage.
Automation.
Yes, for sure. Exactly. We are going to set up the automation. All this thing, all this process, it is going to be fully automated. But there's one thing that we do after. Yeah.
But we have to test the code.
Yes, exactly.
Testing is required.
Testing is required. So there are certain things, team, that are required upon your code, right? You cannot directly take that code to the production because the code is not verified, tested yet. But before testing as well, right, there is one step that we carry out, is called as build. I'll tell you now, again, those that have never worked on application, you will not understand what build is unless I show you that with practical demo. Timing, just remember that build is a process where we generate some intermediate artifacts. Now, I'm sure you'll not understand anything at all about it, but I'll give an example. If you're working on Java applications, right, it requires to convert that into a WAR file, a deployable file. Or if you're working in container environment, you need to convert that into a Docker image. Okay. Now, all of these things I'm going to show you later on. Timing, just remember that just remember it as a step there that is required so that your code is ready. Just remember it this way, that your code is made ready for the next step. How it is made ready? We basically create something called as artifact here. Okay. And a very popular tool for that. Anyone, if you know, for building purpose, which tool is being used? If you have heard. It's, as you said before, Jenkins. Jenkins is very popular for building your application code. In fact, we have Maven, Gradle, right? Those kind of utilities that we can make use of there. We'll see all of it, okay, later on. Right now, just remember it as an overview. All of the details behind this, we are going to see that. Next thing, team. after this, as you said correctly, now the very next thing is testing. Because you see, the developer has put the code, but we have to make sure that the code is good enough, right? We want to make sure that code is ready to go into the final output, right? So we want to test it out. We want to check for its compliance. We want to check whether the code is good enough to go further, right? So testing has to be done as well. And Jenkins, it can be used for both of these. Okay, Jenkins, you can use it for building and testing, right? Both of them. So I'll just write Jenkins in between. Jenkins can be used in many other ways. We'll see that. But timing, I'm just showing you the basic, most basic way possible. Right, so first your developer will put the code into a place like GitHub. From there, your code goes into build and test phase, where the code is converted into a format that is required, and also it is getting tested. Okay. Now, team, the next thing, after the testing is done, what do you think will happen next? After the code is tested, now we have got the best code possible. Now, what do you think will happen? What is your guess? Give it a guess. Don't worry. It's not about being right or wrong. Just give it a guess. Mohammad
Deployment.
Arfin is saying deployment. Rajan is saying deployment. Yes, Madan.
Yes, it's deployment.
Deployment, right? It seems like we want to deploy the code. Deploy is what? I'll tell you. To put it simply, what is deployment? Is right now we have got code, right? Just a second. I'll write it here. Right now, let's just say we have got our code. Now, this code has to run on our servers or on our hardware. Okay, just like, you know, your Facebook is right now running on your cell phone, or the Facebook application rather is running on thousands of servers, right? So we want to run our code onto the hardware for the final deployment. But that is called as deployment. But before deployment, there is one small step that we have to do. We have to provision our hardware, isn't it? Because our hardware is not yet there, isn't it? Where it has to be deployed. So we want to do the deployment, but for deployment to happen, we don't have an infrastructure. Yes, as Bhaktavasra is saying as well, we don't have any infrastructure yet. So in order to build the infrastructure, in order to get that hardware for us, we have this phase called as provisioning. Here, we can use service like Team, do you know? Which is a very popular service for provisioning the infrastructure automatically, or rather with automation. Service. Yes.
Ansible.
Ansible is for configuration management. It is there for managing the infrastructure, but how to create the infrastructure?
The Terraform,
right? Terraform. We have Terraform over there, which we make use of, right? Terraform. Yes, as in fact you told in the chat.
Sir,
So
can I ask?
Terraform. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, मेरे को थोड़ा सा I have two questions, sir. Sir, one first is when we deploy, when we put the code in the GitHub as you told, okay. Then, sir, where it will be tested on GitHub, just like we will use Jenkins as you told for building and testing, but where it will be tested on GitHub?
No, it will be tested inside Jenkins. It will go, the code
Okay.
will be taken by Jenkins, and Jenkins itself will test it out for you. But when I say this, now I'll tell you one more thing, is testing is not happening only at one place. Testing happens throughout this process. So at GitHub, rather, when you're pushing the code as well, there are certain tests that we carry out. Like we have static code analysis, we have component testing, we have unit testing. So certain tests happen at developer end as well. Certain tests happen at a build end as well. Certain tests happen further as well in the production stage. So testing happen throughout this process, but formally I've just included here to mention that, okay, at least this is the place where you should have carried out all the possible tests on your code so that it is ready to move further. But remember, testing happens throughout. Yes, there is a testing that happens at a developer PC as well. You are going to carry it out before getting pushed. Some testing happens at, Jenkins will do the majority of the testing. Even further as well, there will be some testing that will do on the code. Okay, but testing, yes, in this case, formally, yes, Jenkins will be the one who will be carrying it out.
Okay, sir. और sir, second thing is, sir, ये जो provision वाला I didn't get it, sir. मतलब just like जैसे Facebook का आपने example दिया, you gave the example of Facebook कि वहाँ पे हम deploy करके वहाँ देख सकते हैं जैसे वो रहता है. ये provision का I didn't get it, sir.
No, I'll tell you. See, when you're using Facebook right now, okay, let's just say you are having Facebook on your cell phone, right? When you click on your Facebook application, what happens is that Facebook is being hosted somewhere in the server of Facebook, right? The Facebook company, basically, or Meta company rather, it has thousands of servers across the globe where the Facebook is running. And when you use your application, your request goes to those servers. So basically, Facebook is hosted on an infrastructure. So we require some infrastructure to host our application as well. So this provisioning stage does what? It creates that infrastructure for you. Terraform is a service for that. Terraform is used for infrastructure automation. It creates the infrastructure where your software will run. In our case, our application, Facebook-like application will run.
It will create the same scenario, just like for testing purpose, like create the infrastructure, right, sir?
No, in the testing, we did not have any infrastructure. In the testing, we just use Jenkins for that. It is wherever the Jenkins is running, it will run. But provisioning will create the entire infrastructure that is required for running your application. Your application needs to run, right? Someplace. It will require many things. It will require a server. It will require a storage. It will require some database. It will require some queue. It will require some networking. So all these components are provisioned using Terraform. Don't worry, I'll show you that.
Okay, okay. I mean, just checking for that real we are doing on the Terraform.
We are doing that on Terraform, exactly. So Terraform service will create all of it for you.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, nice question. And team, now that our infrastructure is ready, our code is ready, as you said correctly, we'll then do the deployment. Okay, so deployment will be done. Your code that you have tested, built and tested, the infrastructure has been provisioned using Terraform, and now your code will basically run. This is the place where you have got your code. This is the place where you got your hardware. So in the deploy phase, what happens? That code will start to run on your hardware, and that's it. Okay. And finally, there's one last stage that we have here. It's called as monitoring. Okay. So we also want to make sure that the things are going well. Monitoring phase or monitoring step will make sure that the things are going well. It will get insights. It will give you the insights into the application. It will tell you the overall information about the resources. Okay, we just saw, right? We have tools, different tools for that, isn't it? We saw tools like Grafana, right? We have Prometheus, right? So, like these tools can be used for monitoring purpose, and then you can get insights into the application. Okay, so this is a basic, very basic process for any application that needs to be deployed. And this process, team, remember, this is called as software development life cycle. I'm sure you must have heard this word before, but never knew what this was. Remember the word SDLC, software development life cycle, is this particular process where we are developing a software end to end. Okay, so it begins from a developer. Okay, a developer will push the code, and from there it will be built, tested, the infrastructure will be provisioned, the deployment will happen on the destination, and then finally you'll also monitor the things to make sure that the things are all going well. Okay, so team, this is the introduction to SDLC as we
सर
wanted.
इसमें Ansible का रोल कहाँ पे है?
Which one?
Ansible का रोल
So I'm not able to hear you clearly.
means Ansible means where you have used Ansible here in this particular life cycle.
Ansible, you are saying. No. You see, after this process is done, right, during the configuration of your infrastructure, when your infrastructure is ready and you want to configure it one or the other way, you want to configure that, you want to set the applications, install some, delete some. So all for that configuration of your infrastructure, then we'll use Ansible later on. Okay, we'll use it. We'll see exactly how that's being used. What is the way for using that? But remember, once you have the infrastructure ready, in order to configure that the way you want, in order to set that infrastructure the way you want, we are going to use Ansible. We're going to manage the infrastructure that way later on. Okay, and there are many tools, in fact, that we are going to yet to put. Right? We also have not seen Kubernetes where it will come, Docker where it will come. Right? So we'll as well include that gradually over. Okay, but this is the most basic of the development life cycle as we wanted to see. One particular person I have made you aware of, developer. Okay, and we'll see tomorrow we'll continue with the same process, and we're going to add some more things to it. This is the most basic process I want to show. Tomorrow we'll continue with this process itself, and we'll add some more things to it, and then we'll see what exactly. We are not yet onto DevOps. You see, we are just seeing a simple software development lifecycle. We will then come to DevOps and see how it will all fall into places. Okay. So team, this is what we wanted to learn today as a part of it. I'm already exhausted. 7 minutes. I think it's already 7 minutes. But yeah, day number 1. From tomorrow on, I'll just keep a track of time as well. And we'll continue with this discussion as we have started.
Swami, sorry for the interruption. Just one question.
Yes.
The thing is that you will put the recording mode on, right, from tomorrow?
I think it is already being recorded. It is already being recorded.
Okay. And one more thing, which Linux should I install in my system?
No, you don't require anything else. That's the beauty of it. We'll do it on a cloud where you'll not require to install anything at all.
Okay.
Okay, no worries. So you don't require anything. And anything, if it is required, no, I'll tell you beforehand only.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. All right, team. So let's just wrap up the session. Do let me know. I hope that things have been all good for you. I mean, it is just a beginning of it. But as we'll go further, we'll be deep diving on the topics. First, we need to understand the need of going for it, and then we'll actually start deep diving into it. Okay. So team, I'll see you in the next session.
But how to get this file, today's file, recording file?
The team will reach out to you. I think they will create a group for you and everything, and they will reach out to you. They will give you the recordings of the same and everything. They will reach out to you. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, team. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
And I'll see you in the next session.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye.
You too, sir. Good, sir.